this is the reading for the single Cancer male for February of 2018. So what I do is I put together a House of Love spread, is what I call it. And I have 3 cards that make up the roof. And this is really potentially your next partner that you come across, your next significant relationship. I mean, you're lightly dating. It's not going to hit on that. It's going to hit on someone you spend more than 3 months with, technically. I mean, if you're not a long-term person, then, you know, it'll be somewhat significant. So the first 3 cards kind of emphasize how you meet or the conditions under which you do meet. And then the 4 cards in the house accentuate the relationship once it's in full swing. And that's what goes on in those 4 cards. Now, I'm using the Romance Tarot and the Sex and Love Tarot, and I'll post those in the box below. Now, the first card I get for the Cancer male singles is the 7, the Chariot. So we may have a situation where you're traveling and you meet someone, or someone at a distance from you is someone that you're interested in. So maybe distance relationship, maybe even over the internet, long distance, you know, that you're someone you're interested in that way anyway. And then the sex card to accentuate is the 8 of Wands. And the 8 of Wands is really, and I feel, because we're dealing with singles here as an overall theme, I feel like that's really indulging in the fantasy of wanting to have that perfect relationship where you're indulging in that, in the physical senses, and looking after and caring for them on in an emotional and physical way, you know, getting into a relationship that you can nurture in that way. Feeling very much that you have someone at a distance that you're thinking about in that way. And maybe they don't know all of that, but that's something that's really bubbling up for you. Now, the next card I get in the roof here is the 8 of Cups. Now, the 8 of Cups is about celebrating and friendships. We have a scenario here with 2 women and a man, but I feel like everything's kosher. I feel like these are friendships, right? So a sense of being out and amongst your friends, and, you know, maybe even just, you know, just being public, making yourself available publicly, going out, you know, more often to kind of get those opportunities. So indulging in that. And then I get on the sex side of things, I get the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups may just be that connection that you're looking into. You may be looking into a water sign, Scorpio, Cancer, or a Pisces, or someone with those traits, like compassionate, soft, tender, emotional, someone who's emotionally taking charge, and not only that, nurturing to you, you know, and then is full well able to accept your nurturing as well. So someone very balanced in that way, because we're talking about 2 water signs here. So Cancer with another water sign, something that you want to look at that, and you want to have that, and you know you have to offer as well. So the next card I get is the Magician on the romance side. And the Magician is really about being in charge of, and we're talking about romance, it's being in charge and feeling powerful in who you are, what you have to offer, and knowing and going forward with that. So not at all feeling like you're cutting yourself off here. You know what you have to offer, and you're going to offer it, and you're going out in the public to flaunt it in that way. So that's really the sense I get here from the Cancer male. He knows what he has. He knows what he has to offer, and he's going out in public to see who's going to bite, that kind of thing. And the card I get on the sex side of things to accentuate that is Temperance. So 14 is the Temperance. So, but be careful. We're not too cocky in the ego side of things. We want to make sure that we don't get too cocky, turn people off, really. So just be careful with that energy of, you know, peacocking. It's a little bit much. It may be a little bit much for what you're trying to attract, especially because if you come from an ego-centered place, too much, that compassionate, it's going to turn that softer side that you're looking to attract, is going to turn that away, because they're going to go, oh, he's too much for me, you know. Can't be humble, because I think the one you're looking for that compassionate, soft-centered side. She really warms up to humbleness. So that's, you got to keep that into mind. That's a little tip there. Okay, so we get into the house now. So this is in the relationship once we get into the relationship. The first card I get in the romance area is the Empress. So the Empress is really about the fruitfulness, and I feel like this is really what you're looking for in that partner. So the Cancer male is really looking for that virile, I'm saying virile, it's a male thing, right? So that abundant woman, someone who has compassion to offer children, offer a man, offer a family, that kind of softness. He's looking for that. And someone who'd make a great mother, you know, that kind of a thing. And compassionate with me, compassionate with the kids, da da da. That's what I'm getting a sense of here with the Empress. Now, when we go into the sex side of things, we get the Knave of Pentacles. So, the old saying, what is it? Freak in the sheets. The Knave of Pentacles is really the indulgence, you know, overindulgence to a degree. So it kind of counterbalances. We have the romance side of things where we're thinking about a sturdy woman, you know, fun and frivolous, not frivolous, because the Empress is not frivolous. She's just very abundant and got a lot to offer, right? Compassion, softness, intuition, you know, not to the height of the High Priestess, but nonetheless, there's a sense of an ability here for her to be intuitive. But the Knave of Pentacles really goes off in a direction where we may be overindulging in the senses on the sensual side, and we may be doing it in the liquid side as well, where we're getting, you know, socializing and then indulging into these things and maybe not seeing things from the keenest perspective, right? Not seeing it with the sharpest focus. So the next card I get is the Ace of Swords. Now the Ace of Swords is really about cutting to the core. You know, we're talking about the air being the communication, dealing with things that are of truth and nothing but. So I move on. The next card, that's the romance. So we really want to cut to the chase here. We want to know if you're in or out, right? So we're not really going lightly, although we are looking for a deeper commitment, but we're not, I think, in our mind, we're not thinking about marriage, but we're thinking about long-term commitment. But it may not be the marriage, right? Maybe an aversion to that word. But nonetheless, the Two of Pentacles is here. So there's a sense of wanting to get to the truth of things. And then there's also a situation here where we want to surprise someone. So, okay, let's go with the scenario that we have a situation where we have someone at a distance. And maybe you're out in public at home and, you know, being sociable, that kind of thing. And you decide to go take a trip and surprise your partner. This is what I feel is coming. Or may not even be your partner yet. It may just be someone you're connecting with and trying to get into a deeper way with. So you decide to go and surprise them in that way, whether it's bringing them to you or you going to them. Now, the next card I get is the Betrayal card. So the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords is about betrayal. It symbolizes somebody is right ticked here. Something happened that ticked them off. So now we're talking about the Cancer male. That's the feeling that he is carrying. So he is pissed off. He maybe went to surprise someone and something happened. Now the Ten of Pentacles is is really about being and wanting to be part of a relationship but not yet engaging in it, right? Because this man is not even touching the woman, but she's kind of carrying all the grapes, right? All that abundance is there. And I feel like it's in his direction. So I don't feel like he's been misinformed. I feel like the woman is really laying it on thick for him. So not sure where that stands there. There's a betrayal, but yet the woman is really giving the emotion to him to come forth. So the next card we get is the Three of Coins. And this card to me is brute force, where we need to use compassion. So brute force is being applied here. Then we have the Sun card, which is for the sex side, which is kind of like the big O card. So I don't know. There's a mishap here, something along the way. Maybe you went to go surprise her and she wasn't available to you or in the way that you felt like should be or you were entitled to or she had led you to believe, maybe. But nonetheless, it's highly aspected here when we have the Sun in the corner. It's either a highly aspected that you take brute force, you take control of the situation, which I don't like saying that, but nonetheless, or there's a situation here where we have a little bit of forcing the situation. Maybe you come out there and she's not as happy to see you, so there's a bit of a kerfuffle there in dealing with somebody's feelings, but nonetheless, the night ends up in a big O at the end of the night. You know, it kind of whatever, it balances out, but it may not have been the big surprise that you wanted it, that you daydreamed it to be. Okay. So, and I feel like this could be obviously Valentine's, right? I mean, you could be going and trying to surprise her and it wasn't. I'm getting a sense of disappointment. There's a disappointment here, but it's easily, sorry, it's easily overcome through the process of maybe the evening, the weekend, or whatever it may be. Whatever time you decide to go and do this. There's a sense of something at a distance and a sense of dreaminess about it. Things in your head a lot. Then we have you kind of going out and socializing and picking up on that sensitive side. Could be that person, or it could be someone with those traits of a water sign, the soft, sensitive, compassionate, caring, kind person that you come across. And then, you know, bringing out the ego a little bit by having to watch that. And then, you know, all of these things adding up here. But be careful in the consumption. But it seems like that's all in the mix, right? It's kind of in that party vibe where you're going out and this is where it's coming in. This is how it's happening in that kind of a way. So there's a little bit of disappointment along the way. And we just got to be careful. I feel it's overcome, but there's a position here where the Cancer male has to kind of step up and kind of shake things down a bit. Like, I don't know what that, it's just a sense. I got to step up here and not be passive. So either he stands up for himself, said, hey, you don't lead me on like this if you don't mean it, if that was the situation. Or, you know, hey, I'm here. I traveled all this way to see you and you're going to blow me off? I don't think so. And then it ends up making things okay, like that kind of a thing, right? Yeah, sometimes I say things I shouldn't say, but nonetheless, you know, an ending to the situation or the evening or whatever it may be turns out okay. It ends on a high note. Let's put it that way. That's in all directions. So it's all good, but there's a bit of a frequency shift throughout. And nonetheless, I don't think the Cancer male really loses any dignity here. He stands up for himself. He knows what he's worth and he ain't going to take any less. And I think this woman tries to pull a number on him, but he's got that number. He's got that number. So he throws it right back and says, wait a minute here. No, you're not going to do me like that. And confronts it. And then the woman either complies, backs down or whatever. But either way, we have a meeting of the minds at the end of the evening, day, week, whatever. And things warm up to a degree. So it's quite an interesting little ride this Cancer male single is on. So, you know, let me know if this hits. I want to hear these stories because it's quite interesting. But it seems like he's going out. The Cancer male is going out and letting people know he's single. And he's going out and flirting and doing what he needs to do to attract that person in. So, and then all the festivities that come from that, right? So just be aware that we don't want to be in our ego too much because what we are focusing on is counter. You know, if we bring out the ego too high, we're going to get a different quality there of partner coming at us. So be aware of that. But nonetheless, we end on the Sun. So that's why I'm going to leave it. You end on the sun. It's all good. And like I said, we were talking about sex here. I think there's a huge physical attraction, and that's really what carries. But there's a little bit of too much of a softness as woman, trying to get away with something, and it's very light in the form of things, right? But the Cancer male is going to put his foot down right away and drop that barrier so that there's no misunderstanding. He's got his tools. He uses them, and he'll carry forward. So hopefully that works out and continues to be in a good way. But nonetheless, so happy Valentine's Day, Cancer males. Again, if this scenario vibrates for you, let me know and comment, because I would like to know how this works out, because there's a lot of energy here, a lot of different things going on, and he's very active, very wanting to go forward, and very in a fiery nature, almost anti-water, but very powerful. So it's a good energy for him to sit in. He's going after and getting what he wants. It's all good. It's all good. So, Cancer male for February 2018. Take care. Have fun. Be kind.